Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Descendant for the month of October. I hope you're all well and that you don't mind the sound of corvids in the background, because the crows have all come back to the trees early today. I'm not quite sure what's going on with them, but they're quite noisy and I love the sound, so I am unconcerned by their noise. Anyway, let's have a look and see what's going on with you. Could I have 3 cards for Aquarius, please? That's the first card. We've got the 3 of Swords in reverse, like that. 2 more cards for Aquarius, please. Went right off down there. I can get it without setting my hair on fire. We have Strength, card of Leo in the Major Arcana, card number 8. And we have, for what's coming towards Aquarius, it's coming towards Aquarius, thank you. We have the 9 of Pentacles and the 6 of Pentacles. Oh, I really like this for you, Aquarius. This is excellent. So, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords. That's magnificent. That is your sword. And it speaks very much about understanding the truth of something. That's what I'm feeling for you this month here. Interestingly enough, it is then followed by the 7 of Swords. Now, this card often talks about deceit and dishonesty in some sort of way, you know, like shoddy behaviour from people, but I'm not getting that for you from the Hush Tarot here, because what we've got is a bird with a basket full of keys. I don't know if the camera is picking that up well enough or not, but you can see it. And then after, we have the Hierophant, and on this funny stone thing that the birds are congregated around, there are in fact keys there. Now, it could well be that you are physically getting a key to something, maybe a new home, maybe new business premises, something like that, right? That could be a thing. But more than that, I feel like actually there's a realization that you're going to have this month that unlocks something for you about something important, something fundamental. Whether this is to do with your long-term security, that's possible, or it could be connecting you to your faith in some way, your faith in something, right? And that doesn't have to be in God or, you know, any kind of higher being, but maybe your faith in humanity, right? This could be a big thing. Maybe even faith in yourself. Interesting, but it's going to involve you taking a bit of a risk with this realization that you've had, right? In shadow cards, I haven't even got anywhere near the clarifiers yet. We're going to use the Rider-Waite for the clarifiers. But let's have a look at this 3 of Swords in reverse. Why is this here for Aquarius, please? 6 of Pentacles again. Interesting. We've got the 8 of Swords as well. I like this combination for you here. Right, let's have a look at Strength for your current energy. Why is that here? We've got the 7 of Swords again and the Queen of Wands. Interesting, Aries energy. Let's have a look and see with this 9 of Pentacles and 6 of Pentacles. That was the Hermit that flipped there, but it didn't come out. We've got the 2 of Wands. There we go. 10 of Pentacles. Right, the reason that I was grinning was because 2 of the cards that have fallen out are Major Arcana, and they're 2 signs that I've already featured in your reading. Well, one sign is featured in your reading. We've got another card of Leo, which is this, you know, Sun card here. But we've also got you showing up in your reading, kind of almost accidentally, as it were, because you kind of dropped out at the side. There's a really strong sense of connection happening with you this month, Aquarius, and I don't know if this is because you are meeting someone, maybe a Leo, possibly, but Leo is your equal and exact opposite in the zodiac. You sit across from each other. what happens to one tends to happen to the other, or at least one will feel the effects of something happening to the other sign, right? Without it necessarily happening to you. Now I'm going to put these back in here because they might come out again if I need to pull any more cards. But what we've got here at the bottom is the Five of Cups, the Nine of Wands, and the Fool. Now, I feel like part of the realization that you are having this month is that you have been grieving for something that has gone, right? And that will, what that is will change, you know, depending on which of you we're speaking to. It's going to be different for every single one of you. Remember, this is a general reading. So for some of you, it could be people, it could be relationships. For others, it could be business, it could be opportunities. You know, you have felt the loss of something recently, right? But I get a really strong sense of you picking yourself up by the scruff of the neck this month and starting anew. There's more Aries energy there with the Fool, right? We're going to come back to this, actually. I'm going to pop that there because I'm thinking about the cards that are up here, and it'll make more sense once we're there. So let's start with your recent past, and we've got the Three of Swords in reverse. Now, this is a card of heartbreak. It's a card of things being very fucking painful indeed, right? In some way. Now, this doesn't have to be through the loss of a romantic relationship. There are lots of different ways in which we can experience heartbreak. You know, just rolling through my head, you know, things that have broken my heart that have been nothing to do with romance or relationships or anything like that, right? They do exist. So it's a really interesting depiction here. Sorry to kind of zone out on you there, right? But look at that. I don't think the camera will focus on it because I've had to fix the focal length. But we've got this person here kind of looking without seeing. The eyes are kind of blind. And she feels like a spectre. I mean, although she's clearly rotting and she's being infested by animals, you know, there's small insects kind of chewing away down here on her. There's something quite spectral about whatever this heartbreak is. Now, the good news for you is that it came out in the reverse. So whatever it is, you are healing from it. But rather than it being something that's happened at you recently, it's like the spectre of a thing that happened a long time ago is the thing that you've realized you are now healing from, right? And the two cards that came out to clarify that were the Six of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. And I feel like this is part of your realization. Good Lord. Right. Right down there. Part of what it is that you're realizing and why it is that you are healing from it is that you have limited yourself in some way, right? You've been out of balance, you've been out of whack with something. Something has been bothering you, low-key. And I think it's probably something that's rumbled along in the background for quite a long time. But now you see it in a way that you didn't before. And, you know, observation is processing. You observe anything, you know, this is particularly true of any kind of pain, right? When you observe it, then you are mentally processing it and you understand it. And actually you can often reduce it because pain is, you know, it's a flag. It's trying to tell you that there's something wrong. Now, there's been something that's been weighing you down and aching on you, something that you were heartbroken about, the spectre of something that you were heartbroken about. And you finally looked at it. You finally observed it. And in doing so, you've started the healing process straight away, right? You've brought balance to yourself here, as we see with the Six of Pentacles, right? It's not quite there yet, but you're not fully healed yet, so that's not really a surprise. You can see the pentacles aren't sat, you know, symmetrically on this card. They are still out of balance here. But it's happening. It's occurring. And what this has done is allowed you to see the ways in which you have limited yourself, the ways that you have kept yourself trapped, and the ways in which, on some level, there's been a part of you that's kind of hoped somebody would come along and fix this for you. Now, you know that that's not going to happen. In Aquarius, you are a very independent sign anyway. You're not kind of hunkered down with too many emotional not emotional interactions, that's the wrong way of putting it. You do tend to have a fairly broad outlook on things, and sometimes you miss the details in relationships because you're always looking at the horizon, right? It's a thing. You have a reputation for being a bit cold and a bit detached, but that's because people don't really understand how it is that you work, right? So I can't shake the feeling that you were kind of hoping that somebody would fix this for you. And to that end, I feel like this is something that occurred a very long time ago, and probably going back to childhood, because in adulthood, you make a point of not being dependent on anyone, right? You are an island. You can do all these things yourself. You're very capable, and you've got that really sharp intellect that allows you to problem solve better than most anyway. So why would you take a problem to someone when you know that actually the most qualified person in the room to fix this problem is you? But you're starting to apply this to yourself now too, right? And this is in your recent past. This is what's been going on with you here. Now, then we come to strength. Like I said, the card of Leo. And this could be a Leo around you, but actually I really feel like it's speaking to your personal development, your growth, right? There is something inherently empowering about the revelations that you are having about your internal space at the moment. And it does feel like it's an internal space for some reason. It doesn't feel like it's necessarily really anything to do with stuff that's going on around the outside of you. It's all very much in here. And I feel like your intuition is really, really strong at the moment. It's almost like a sixth sense, right? We've got bats all over this card, and it feels like you're kind of like echolocation, for the want of a better word. It's just like bump, bump, bump. It's like you know exactly what is going on around you without you needing to go out and look for it. Now, this is all very clearly carrying on from what's gone before, right? It's about your internal processing that has allowed this to open up. Right? And any kind of work that you do on yourself kind of works for the collective too. But you're really not in the dark about anything at the moment, even if it's not right in front of you for you to be able to analyse it. It's almost like you just fucking know stuff at the moment. Maybe it's freaking you out a little bit, actually, that you just seem to know things. You know, it's sort of bordering on prescience, like, you know, just before a thing's going to happen, like something is starting to happen, right? But more than that, you're kind of being able to intuit people's motives and how they're going to behave, what their next step is, without putting any effort into it. It's just sort of coming to you, right? Now this is quite interesting because we've got the Seven of Swords and we've got the Queen of Wands here, right? Now, aside from the fact that the Queen of Wands is obviously the fire element queen, she's strictly Aries, not Leo, but aside from that connection, I'm not entirely sure why she's here. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'll go with the wild unknown. But the Seven of Swords talks about taking a risk, you know? This is actually the card that I would usually associate with dishonesty and deceit, deception, something like that. Maybe, maybe you are seeing now where people are trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Okay? Maybe this is where this really sharp knowledge is coming in, really, really helpful. What about the Seven of Swords? It's the sun. For fuck's sake. What about the Seven of Swords? Five of Cups. More swords energy with the Knight of Swords. Right. Feels like you're using two really, really potent energies at the moment. All right. The King of Swords is your king, but he's not here on the table. Yeah. And I do think he's actually a fairly static king. Like, he's depicted on a seat, and he looks like he might actually creak a little bit if he stood up, right? His mind goes 10 to the dozen, but the body is a little less willing. He kind of sits where he is, right? Ponders things. But you've got the Knight of Swords here, right? There's much more action involved with this knight. There's much more movement. And there's a lot more doing, right? It feels like you're taking a risk on something. But we've got this Father of Cups, which is the King of Cups here. Underpinning it, there's a kind of, there's almost a fatherly feel to this here. There's something quite protective that you're turning your mind to at the moment. Perhaps that where the deceit is coming in, if there is any deceit, is not actually towards you, it's towards someone else. Someone that you feel protective over, and you can see the bullshit and they can't. And there's an element of taking a risk involved here for you, but you're prepared to do it anyway. Tell me about the Queen of Wands. Oh. Tell me about the Queen of Wands. I'm not taking all of those 5 cards there. Tell me about the Queen of Wands, please. Death. You've got the Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck, followed by the Ace of Wands and the Two of Cups. Like, is this a fire sign around you, Aquarius? He is acting perhaps a little impetuously, or at least acting on dodgy information or not enough information. Because what it feels like is you going to this person, you have been going to this person and trying to make them see sense, rather than sitting on your throne and kind of weighing all these things up. It feels like you are actively going to this person. Now, it doesn't have to be a fire sign. It can just be somebody who's a little bit, like we can be, a little bit headstrong, a little bit excitable. Because this other person seems to be about to head off down a path that they are very excited about, but you are a little bit more wary of. Maybe because you can see a little bit further down the road than they can. They're being very living in the moment and jumping on opportunities, very spontaneous. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Stand down. Like, there are things here that you have not thought about. The Sun card, which is what dropped out while I was shuffling, it didn't leap, but it dropped. So I didn't take it, and I haven't included it in the reads. Like, some of the downside of the Sun is that it can sometimes be a little bit naive because, it's quite childlike in its approach to things. And your energy here seems to be something bigger and wiser and quite fatherly. There's quite a fatherly feel here towards this person, kind of rushing in and going, you really haven't thought about this. Sit down, shush, and listen to what I have to say about it, right? Because the Queen of Wands is clarified by the Eight of Wands and the Death card, which is an intriguing mix. Right. Why is this Death card here? Five of Cups. Right. Yeah. Someone in your environment is trying to start off down a path that they are very excited about. You are not. Because you can see that they are going to regret their actions, right? I'm not entirely sure why it's important that we know about what this fire sign-esque person is doing rather than you. But you're playing a role in this somewhere. Like the Five of Cups says that they're going to regret what this is when it reaches completion, when it comes to its end, right? We've got this kind of very bright, fiery, sparky kind of energy hitting these Eight of Wands here, right? Ready to move. I feel like that's very Queen of Wands energy there. But then we've got death. We've got an ending to that. We've got a completion. We've got a culmination of events. And then we've got this Five of Cups. Like, this person is going to regret what they're doing. Maybe they've tried to bring you in it somewhere. Maybe that's why your involvement is here. Why is Aquarius even needing to know about this, please? I just heard the ones that know will understand. So, you've had the time and the mental wherewithal to think about this, whereas this other person's just jumping in feet first, right? And they're going down a path of pain, because we've got the Four of Swords and the Seven of Cups there, right? There's illusion here. All that glitters is not gold, and this person cannot see it, and you're trying to stop them from going where they're going, right? What a bizarre reading. So that's all in your current energy, right? What we've got coming towards you is the Nine of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is about security, stability, right? But that which you manage for yourself, right? It's paying your own bills. It's being totally independent, taking care of your own needs, right? The Six of Pentacles is about achieving balance in some way, which we've already seen with your past energy, that is something that you are working on at the moment. And those two cards are clarified by the Two of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. Now, the Two of Wands is hitting a crossroads. Right? It's kind of being in the planning stage of something. When you're at the Three, you start executing whatever plan it was you came up with in the Two. And certainly your plan seems to involve your long-term security. Now, I don't know why this Queen of Wands and this, you know, I really should underline, tarot doesn't give a shit about gender. So this could be a man or a woman, or, you know, an NB, anything. It makes no difference whatsoever. It's just the feminine presentation of the energy rather than the masculine. And it could be a fire sign, sun, moon, or ascendant, or it could just be somebody who is being a little bit impetuous. And for this fire sign right now, I am feeling that it is impetuous and spontaneous, rather than, you know, some of the better qualities of the one suit. It's actually a little bit argumentative as well. I'm feeling there's a little bit sort of gone beyond passion, and a bit like kind of aggressively defending this route that they're going down here, right? So your eye is on your long-term future, your long-term stability. Why is this a crossroads point for Aquarius? I've got the Nine of Swords has come out on the table, but the Nine of Cups is flipped there. I'm going to put that back in. And the Ace of Cups. You know, maybe this is one of your children. Maybe this is a parent. Maybe this is a family member or a friend. But certainly there's something about this that has your fate bound up in it too, some way. There's what did I say about one thing? Right at the beginning, I said what happens to one sign tends to have knock-on effects for the other. They're going to feel the ripple effect of it. Now, I don't think this is necessarily a Leo, but I think that the person that it refers to, you know, their actions may have consequences for you in the future, and this is what you've been concerned about. Right? Oh. And there's the Ace of Cups again. Right. There's the Queen of Swords. She's your queen. She's the one who takes no shit, right? Takes no prisoners either. She says exactly what she thinks. She's very fair. She's very good at sifting facts, and I think that this is an energy of yours that is very important here at the moment. But you're at a crossroads, because on the one hand, you've got the Ten of Pentacles here. You know, you're very concerned about your security and your stability, perhaps your family, you know, everything that you've worked for. And then we've got this shit show on the other side. We've got the 9 and the 10 of swords and the devil. Like, this is hideously toxic behavior here. By someone. The 9 of swords is about being really very concerned about something, right? You can see mental illness and depression indicated by this card, but also, you know, overthinking, worry, concern, insomnia, you know, all of those things were covered here by this. The thing is, with the 9 of swords, it's quite often that the things that you're concerned about are actually kind of really in your head. They don't have that much basis in reality, right? The devil being here could indicate, well, that it is, you know, it is just fear that you're reacting from here. Like, it's not necessarily there. It's just something that you're really, really afraid of things going wrong, right? Except that the devil does rule the material world. So his presence here might actually indicate that there's a fairly solid basis for you being concerned the way that you are, because it is going to go wrong, right? And then we've got the 10 of swords. Well, you know, we're progressing from the 9, where it might be in your head, to the 10, which is the actual eventuality of what you said coming to pass. That kind of feels like it's the latter interpretation of the devil rather than the former, right? So this is really confusing, and I hope it makes sense to someone. We've got the Ace of Cups on the other side here with the 10 of Pentacles as well. It looks to be like this crossroads could be speaking to you, kind of getting a little bit too wound up in whatever this 9 of swords, 10 of swords, devil situation is here, right? And kind of losing yourself in it. Or retaining your balance, you know, retaining your island status a little bit, like you are with the 9 of Pentacles, where you take care of yourself and you take care of what it is that you've created. And kind of withdraw from it, you know, put your balance first rather than being drawn into somebody else's shit show. Well, that's going to be difficult if there are consequences for you somewhere along the line, but it seems like it's kind of asking you to prepare to, you know, prepare for the worst and hope for the best is actually what I just heard. What else does Aquarius need to know about what's coming towards them in October? I mean, it might not even be somebody that you know and you have a close emotional bond with. It could be your fucking MP or something like that, or, you know, whatever the equivalent is in different countries. You know what I mean? It's there's a certain amount of power implied with a court card, either a king and a queen. You know, there's the obvious implication that their actions will have consequences, not just for them but for other people too, because they're in that position of authority. So it could well be that it's that. What else does Aquarius need to know, please? Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I think we've got the 10 of Swords in reverse there. I think that you are being asked to kind of stay in your own lane a little bit this month, Aquarius. Like, I know you're concerned about whoever this character is and the effect that you're going to have on your life. The effect that they're going to have on your life somewhere. But the Queen of Pentacles is about self-care and nurturing and looking after yourself. The 9 of Pentacles is all about looking after yourself. 6 of Pentacles is about, you know, achieving that equilibrium, that balance. And I have to say, this character does look a little bit grave, and interestingly enough, so does the character in the 9 of Pentacles. They both look a little bit grave, but, you know, they've got their priorities in hand. If you pay too much attention to what somebody else is doing this month, I feel like it's going to probably exacerbate what it is that you're concerned about. Whereas if you stay, like I said, in your own lane, you may have the opportunity to divert disaster away from you further down the way. Like, stay concentrating on the things that are important to you first and foremost, and do what you can to shore those up without necessarily interfering with it, with a plan that anybody else has. This is a very confusing read, Aquarius, and I really hope that it actually resonates with someone out there, because I'm just telling you what I see, but it's odd. So if this has resonated with you, I'm going to go and do an extended over on Vimeo and see if we can't try and unpack this a little bit, because it seems like there's an awful lot going on. So if you want to join me over there, there's a link down in the description box. If not, it's all cool. I don't mind. Yeah. Well, I'll see you soon.